All right. So in this video, we're going to talk about love languages, but specifically, how do you apply love languages when your wife's saying she's not in love with you, when she's saying she doesn't want to connect with you, when there's disconnection? How do you apply love languages in times of marriage crisis? Because there's a lot of nuances here. And if you try it on your own, you probably ran into a brick wall. And we're going to talk about that. And we're talking about for each love language, what to do and how to utilize it. Now, if you're not familiar with love languages, this is a very popular book by Gary Chapman, I believe. And it really codified how people both give and receive love. And they broke it into 5 categories and really just showed a lot of people how they can be more conscious of how their partner both wants to receive love and how they're giving love, and fixing a lot of communication mismatch. Because there's a lot of people who, we give love in one way, we want to receive it in another way. Our partner gives it in a way that's not how we normally do, and they receive it in a way that's not natural to us. And it just creates a whole lot of mismatch. So the book was, one might say, revolutionary. And we're going to talk about, that's a quick little crash course in it. I'm going to talk about the 5 categories and how to apply. It's a very small book, very quick read. I recommend reading it as well if you're unfamiliar with this concept, because they go much deeper into it. This is more for people who know about it and are wondering how to utilize it versus actually teaching you the concept of love languages. All right. So number 1, acts of service. If this is your wife's primary love language, this is probably one of the easiest ones to do in marriage crisis, because you just need to do things for her that fills her cup. Now, within all of these, there are nuances of how they receive acts of service. Take me, for example, domestic things happening around, like whenever I feel like somebody's doing domestic chores and whatnot for me, that fills my acts of service bucket, right? If you go run an errand for me or something like that, probably not as much, but if you're doing something around the house for me, it fills me up here. So whatever your wife's acts of service looks like is what you need to focus on doing, right? So that could be making meals. That could be financial support. That could be picking up errands or stuff like that. Could be cleaning up the house. Whatever hers is. And if you're wondering, think about the things that she complains about the most, is usually a hint to not only what her love language is, but how she wants it met. All right. So acts of service, like I said, that one's pretty easy. You just got to figure out how she wants it, and then you just need to do it. Right. And that will usually, now, if she's trying to disconnect, she may resist you doing the things that will feed that cup, because she doesn't want to believe that you are somebody who she will connect with anymore. So she's going to try to block off the conduits to that. And you may have to do it at lower levels in the beginning, right? So let's say it's around cleaning the house, but she won't let you in the house. Okay. Maybe it's hire a cleaning service to come out. Probably not going to happen. I'll just give you a random idea. Maybe buying her cleaning supplies so she doesn't have to go to the store to get it herself. Maybe it's, if she needs a new appliance, maybe giving her that. You have to be creative. It obviously isn't as good as you doing it, but figure out ways of doing it given your situation. If you're in the house and you can do it, then just do it. If you're separated, then you've got to figure out what can you do to feed that cup with where you're at. All right. Number 2, we have the physical touch. This could be really challenging, especially if she won't let you touch her at all. So what I do find is for women who are high on physical touch, they will tend to allow you to do some type of touch. It's probably just non-intimate, non-romantic, non-sexual touch. So that could look like massages. That could look like you lightly grazing against them. Maybe you can casually bump up against them. Whatever kind of touch she will allow, just do that touch, right? Try to layer that in. Maybe it could even be a high five, right? Whatever. Just try to get as much touch as you can. Words of affirmation. This one is kind of like acts of service, pretty straightforward. Figure out what she needs. Usually it's appreciation. Where does she want to be appreciated, and what does she want to be appreciated for? I had one client whose wife would had this insecurity about being a bad mother. And I was like, make sure, and this is actually common. I've seen this across quite a few clients now that I think about it. Appreciate her for being a mother, right? Tell her like, hey, I really love how well you take care of the kids. You really showed up. They really love you. Things like that. It doesn't have to be about the two of you. Find out what she wants to be appreciated for, and then give her words of affirmation around that. You don't have to do it crazy. If you've never done it before, do it every, once a week. If you have done it before, maybe it's every couple of days. If you could do it daily, potentially. You have to feel out, because after a while, it's going to feel forced if you do it too often, and find genuine times to appreciate her for it. And that should come across really well if that's her top one, right? Quality time, same kind of situation. It's going to depend on your situation. So if you guys are in the same house and she's allowing you to spend time with her, then just spend time, right? If you work a lot and that's a problem, well, then you're going to have to figure out, either wake up early, get your work done earlier, get out later, like whatever you have to do, just find ways to spend more time in ways that she will allow, right? If you're in a real marriage crisis, this one's probably going to be quite hard to do, but maybe she'll watch a TV show with you, right? Maybe she will go grocery shopping with you. Now, quality time, each person experiences it differently. Quality time for me is hanging out on the couch, watching a movie, right? Quality time for others could be going out to a new restaurant. It could be going traveling, right? Each person's quality time bucket gets filled up differently. So it's important that you figure out how she wants quality time met, and just look to the past for evidence. If you've been with her for a while, you'll know. Just think of the past. How does she ask for quality time from you? And try to find ways to do that. And lastly, gifts. This one's pretty straightforward. Figure out what kind of gifts. Some people like handmade gifts. Some people like small. For me, it can be anything, really, because gifts is very low on my language. It can be really anything. Will fill that cup for me. But figure out if you want to know what kind of gifts, actually, look at the kind of gifts she gives other people. How does she go about giving gifts to others? And that will give you a good idea, because we tend to give love in the way that we want to receive love. So the way she gives gifts is probably the way she wants to receive gifts. So just copy that. And that should get you pretty much there. That was pretty easy, because you can just give a gift. You don't have to too much worry about her being open to receiving or not. Maybe she'll take it, maybe she'll push it back on you, but the actual act of giving is pretty straightforward. You can also try anonymous giving if you want. If she's not willing to take it from you, you can try anonymous. But you might just have to wait if she's truly so shut down that she's not willing to accept any gifts from you. All right. So this was a pretty technical one, but I know a lot of guys are out there reading the books and they get stuck because they're like, I can't do any of this stuff. She won't tell me what her love languages are, anything like that. This is just to kind of give you some ideas on how you can utilize love languages when she's shut down, closed off, saying she's not in love with you. You want more support with things like this? Click the link below in our Marriage Recovery Center. We have lots of tools, courses, resources to help you out with this and a lot more. All right. I'll catch you on the next video.